And he hasn't been kicked out as a spy, right?
He hasn't
Because
been.
you can't do that the other way around now anymore. You want to study what in the US? You can't. We won't even give you a visa.
Well, it's despite a lot of things that we hear and a lot of negative things that we hear a lot of the time in different media and things like that, that actually at the end of the day and at a fundamental level, we're always going to have to work with China. There's always going to have to be people to take opportunities.
Hello and welcome to this episode of China XYZ. I'm Guo Yiming. Today we are going to explore the fascinating world of college education and discover why China can emerge as a major destination for students worldwide to pursue their degrees and unlock their full potentials. Joining us today are Mr. Einar Tangen, Senior Fellow at Taihe Institute and Chairman of Asian Narratives. Welcome.
Well, glad to be here.
And Xu Mo, a senior lecturer at Beijing Foreign Studies University, specializing in comparative education and international education policy.
Hello, everyone.
Matthew Kelly, a first-year postgraduate student at Peking University.
Hello everyone, pleasure to be here.
And Cai Chenjia, who will be a postgraduate student at Renmin University of China.
Thanks for having me.
College years are full of exciting and interesting experiences, right? So I'm so curious, what are the craziest thing you've done at college?
I think the craziest thing is I used to host a golf tournament in the library. The school had a very big library, and we had very long, cold winters. Everyone had to dress up in golf gear. They had to bring their bags of clubs. They had to have a caddy. We were limited to 2 foursomes, but we had a gallery of about 30 people. He came to the attention of the president of the university, so he and I had a chat about it. And I put forth my case that we had long winters. Education is about creativity, and we weren't really hurting anybody or doing anything untoward. He didn't say yes, he didn't say no, but I think he was a little mad when I invited him to join the things. Anyways, no, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a really amazing experience, right? And transforming.
The important thing is I didn't get kicked out of school.
Amazing. Okay. How about you?
So I think one of the most craziest things, I think it's like 10 years ago. It was my first time to go to Africa. So I just went there for my international volunteer program. So I went there, like my job was to teach the local people, like the young people, their English. Like, you know, the language is like a pathway could help. So actually it is like the photos for me like 10 years ago. I just give the lecture for the local young people to provide them like some training in English so they could have access to the higher education like later on. So, and also I brought my violin to the Africa to play the Chinese traditional songs for the handicapped children. And so because I work in the Handicapped Children Center and just talk with them, to play with them, and so provide some emotional support. I was moved, I was moved by the power of education. After that, I transferred my major from the finance to education. And now, like, I'm a senior lecturer of the university. So, you know, like my experience in Africa just like a starting point of my education journey. Last week, I went to Africa again. So this time, I was become the young scholars to attend like the African University's Principals Conference to help to build up like a platform of the Africa and the China's universities collaboration. So that's it. It's like life is a circle.
That is a great story. Better than my golf story.
Yeah, I'm really inspired and admired your courage and dedication to teaching the local students English and art. How about you, Matthew?
Yeah, that's a really inspiring story. I think, that sometimes our experiences at university can really open our minds and change our minds and even take a new direction. and things like that. Now, this is my picture that I brought. I would really describe almost every day of my life since I've been in China as a crazy day. We never know what's going to happen next. And even this year, I've actually traveled to over 15 or 16 cities already in China in only 6 months. So I'm always traveling, and it's so fast-paced, I think, my life since being in China. But this picture was actually taken on a trip to Yunnan. This is in Lijiang in Yunnan province. And it was just such a crazy experience for me to put on the ethnic clothes of the ethnic group and to walk around like the ancient kind of city, as you can see, the ancient town of Lijiang. And I really kind of felt like a celebrity as well.
It seems that they all love your outfit.
They love my outfit. They asked for a picture and they said, oh yeah, my parents are just on a business trip. And the three of them were just having a great time, like me, going around exploring the city by themselves. Yeah, so it was just a crazy experience. Yeah, and crazy to kind of, I feel like I was in kind of ancient China walking around, but also be very much reminded that I'm in the modern China.
It's good to be a star.
Yeah, you look really cute on that picture, right? Yeah, how about you, Chenjia?
So for me, the craziest thing I've done is that I kind of switched my major before telling my parents. So it was,
now that in China, that is like super crazy.
Yeah,
that's beyond.
Thank you. Yeah, that's beyond something. So it was not a trivial decision because my transition was from a popular major to a less promising one, so-called less promising one. So, and it also took another year for me to complete my undergraduate study. So my parents, of course, weren't happy about it at that time. But that was my college life, and that was my choice. Which
So what the choices? Get to the choices.
Yes, the choice.
We have to know.
you have to know the choice. Okay, so the choice is from electrical engineering to English language and literature. So that choice, looking back,
There's no question that's right. I was an English major.
you are.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the beginning of everything. Once you understand people and relationships,
Yes.
everything else follows,
Yes,
right?
indeed.
See? Once you
Yeah,
understand
we're
on the
also
same
trans. Yes. So it's like I realized that my strength lies in communicating with people, not in communicating with computers. So that choice, looking back, is one of the craziest thing, but also one of the wisest choice I've made. After all, apart from everything, it was at least beneficial for my psychological health, personally speaking. Yeah, that's my story. And also, I'm going to learn communication and journalism in my postgraduate experience. So it's like English language and literature is just a bridge for that.
Yeah, why would you choose China instead of other countries?
Yeah, that's a tricky question. So first and foremost, I could have applied for overseas programs, but my offer from RUC was so inviting that I decided to stay. So I'm really looking forward to, with a postgraduate experience with one of my favorite and also one of the best majors of my future university. So that's RUC, right? So second, to enter my dream careers, I think that's more of in China. So I think learning experience in a Chinese university arguably are more applicable to the Chinese society in job market. So that's the reason why I choose to stay here.
Yeah. How about you, Matthew? Why would you choose China to further your studies?
I think there's a lot of reasons why I chose to come to China for my master's program. I think for me, I was kind of always interested in Asia, and my undergrad was actually in international business and also with Mandarin as a minor, so I was definitely interested in coming to China. I did have job offers based on my actually undergrad, like very good job offers that I could have taken just to work for the Irish government, the very stable jobs and have very stable time, I think, back home. But then I think the opportunity to come to China was just so amazing to have. And I think, yeah, just to understand China and to study China, to improve my Chinese, I really felt I had to come to China. And then I think a massive part as well of the opportunities for young students coming to China is actually scholarships. There's just so many different scholarship programs. I myself am at the Yenching Academy of Peking University, which is a fully funded master's scholarship program. And it really, I think, incentivizes students to come to China as well, that having, I suppose, scholarships available and so many different programs like that on Chinese studies as well. Really definitely incentivizes people to come. So yeah, I've had a really amazing time in China and definitely feel like I've made the right choice for myself coming to China. I think so too. And even I feel as well representing Ireland is actually something I do every day here in China. So I think actually every day as a foreigner in China, we're always representing our countries as well and our culture and sharing that with Chinese people as well. So definitely representing Ireland is also something I really enjoy.
You can become the future ambassador
Yeah, for sure.
in China, right? So, Mo, you studied comparative education and international education policy, right? So, what do you think make China's education, university education, different from the Western countries?
Actually, there are some difference like between the Western and the Chinese university system. For example, we have to pass the college entrance examinations. If we just always stay in the China and just to get my my pass to go to university. So I think that's really like competitive, and we have to like work hard and even like spend like 3 years or even more than 3 years to do the exercise to practice. But I think for the Western like countries, they have like more choices or like more diversified like pathway. But still, I think for Gaokao, like in Chinese university system, I think it's like to some extent it is a good way to provide like every people like the same opportunities to have the access to gather university's education, and to some extent they could provide educational equity. So I think that could be like the first difference. And the second, I think, yes, for sure, you talk about the scholarship. I think for the Chinese universities, we really like welcome like more international students to come. So we really wanted to provide them more like research fundings for the scholarship. Also, we talk about the Belt and Road Initiative. So in the recent years, actually, like this year is the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative. So I think there are more opportunities for the international students to come, and they do not need to worry about the financial issues. But for us, if I am like a Chinese girl, I want to go to the Western countries to study, I have to prepare like a lot, like the money or any like other financial like support.
Yeah, affordability is one of the key features for China's education, college education system.
But the one thing that I would stress to anybody, that is, look at where the opportunities are economically, but also culturally.
Right.
I mean, China is now over 120 countries. It is the primary trade partner. And that will continue. It's not going to stop. Learning about what is becoming is a center of trade. Despite all the things you hear internationally about, there's trade wars and things like this, China continues to be the manufacturing hub of the world. And that's not going to change anytime soon. So there's so many different opportunities there. But then culturally, Chinese culture is reemerging after many, many years of being pushed down. In the US, so as China comes back, it's an opportunity to learn about a very, very rich culture, very vibrant, and completely different if you go north, south, east, west. So,
cool. Why don't you share with us some of the positive aspects, like opportunities you embraced during your stay studying in China?
Definitely, I think the opportunities is definitely like a massive reason as to why I chose to come to China, certainly. And as you say about China's merging as like the world's second largest economy now, and definitely China will just continue to be an economic powerhouse. So I think from my perspective as well, is despite a lot of things that we hear and a lot of negative things that we hear a lot of the time in different media and things like that, that actually at the end of the day and at a fundamental level, we're always going to have to work with China. There's always going to have to be people to take opportunities, I think, and things like that. So myself coming to China and getting the skills to be able to take these opportunities, I think, is actually why I'm here. And my life in China has been full of so many opportunities already as a student, I feel. I've taken part in so many different conferences and talks, and even being here today and sharing my opinion on my life in China is another one of those opportunities, definitely, I think, as well.
Yeah, but in terms of what you heard prior to coming to China, it's just not true. I mean, this idea that, I talked to you in the US and said, Einar, how can you live in China? They're oppressed. I said, well, why don't you come? No, I can't go there. I mean, it's a communist nation. I mean, those guys are going to hassle me at the airport. It's just, there's so many lies being told, and they're promulgated, and they're repeated all the time. But have you experienced horrible things? Have you been stopped randomly by gun-toting policemen? Policemen don't even have guns here.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are surprised. Whenever they come, they're like, oh, this is what I was expecting. Oh, this is actually quite nice.
Right.
Oh, the people are nice. Oh, it's safe. I'm surprised.
Yeah. Actually, my girlfriend actually is Chinese, and she's actually going to London next semester for exchange. And I keep reminding her, there's so many things we forget about here. I've been in China perhaps like almost a year now, and keep forgetting, like not to go out by yourself late at nighttime and things like this. And I think it's certainly like a massive benefit, I think, of living in China. That's almost a reverse culture shock, I think, when I go home, kind of having to take more care of my safety, and even like leaving something outside, if you leave your bike outside, or just being very forgetting things. Like I forgot my umbrella outside a shop one time, and I went back 4 or 5 hours later, it was still there every day. Even also, I have to say as well, just the convenience of life here, in terms of getting a taxi, getting Wi-Fi, getting deliveries and everything like that.
I don't think people fully understand what, paying with your phone means.
No cash.
I haven't carried cash for ages. Have you?
No, yeah, you can have cash. Yeah.
Cash free.
But I mean, just you can't lose. You don't have pockets full of change, anything like that.
Yeah, and you can go out the door. If I go out the door in China with just my passport and my phone, I can go anywhere, do anything. It's the world of opportunity, really. Yeah.
And a charger.
And no, dude, you don't even need a charger because you can get Chongdianbao. You can get one anywhere you go, so you don't even need a charger. Yeah.
Have you experienced any cultural differences, cultural shocks, or other challenges during your stay in China?
In terms of culture shocks, I think I was really shocked by my Chinese classmates, how hard they study. It was actually a kind of culture shock for me, because I think, and the university experience probably being a little bit different in China from, I suppose, my undergrad. Maybe it's because I'm an undergrad student as well, but very much a party culture kind of. Everyone goes out perhaps on the weekends and night times and things like that. So definitely coming to China, perhaps having more so seeing people, my classmates in the library until late at night, and in morning time, they're there the whole time. And whenever I go to the library, I always see my classmates there studying. I actually find myself a lot of the time reminding my Chinese students that they're just students, and that we should go out and have fun as well, and try and enjoy our time in college as well, rather than study all the time, I think, as well. Because for me anyways, as an international student in China, getting out and experiencing China I perhaps learn a lot more outside the classroom than I do in reading a book or in doing any more study and stuff. It's actually my in-person experience in China is actually really enriching for me.
Yeah. And Mo, you are into international education and you are a faculty member at university. What are universities in China doing to attract more international students to come to China?
That's a really good question. So now it's for advertisement for our school.
Okay.
So because I'm from the Beijing Foreign Studies Universities, so
one of the most distinguished programs. Yeah. They have the coterie of all the ambassadors out there. Where do they come from? BSFU. Yeah.
Hey, bro, thanks for the advertising.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to make you do it yourself. And I know a lot of your ambassadors, and they speak highly of their institution.
Right. And so, and also our university, we provide 101 foreign languages programs. So it's one of the most.
Even Irish language. Yeah, Irish language is crazy. I was so shocked they do Irish language in BY for.
I'm shocked too. I never knew that.
Actually, I never knew. Yeah.
Actually, at our highest university and for Irish studies as well at UCD back home, one of the professors is Chinese. He's a Chinese guy. And I think he actually got Irish citizenship eventually because he spent so much time studying Ireland and studying Irish language. But I was really moved actually as someone from Ireland that even our own young people are not interested in learning Irish language and in our own language and culture, but that China, that BY is actually teaching it as well.
Welcome.
Yeah, come come on, you want to learn Irish, come to China.
Exactly.
So I think for our universities, we are kind of like a hub or centers to attract the students all around the world, because here we could have you always could find someone to speak the same language with you. And also besides of the language, we also provide some programs. We call it language plus projects, because in the future if you can only translate the language, it's not enough. So we want to just provide a program to cultivate the talents with more comprehensively. So we provide the language plus business, program. We provide the language plus education, plus the media and so on. So that could be like a really good chance for the international students to come here and to enhance their academic level and also learn some cultural in China, both in China and the international for the global ones.
I'm curious, what are the most popular majors for international students coming here
I
in
think
China?
for the international business or international commercial, I think that because they have a lot of money and they have a lot of opportunities. Yes, money is really important.
Yeah, they go together. Business, money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
Archaeology, money, no.
So they just attract lots of international students to come.
Another thing for the advertisement. So as a neighbor of Beihua, my undergraduate school is Beijing Institute of Technology. So in my university, I have a friend from the UK. So he's learning aerospace science, in here. So it's like, I think.
And he hasn't been kicked out as a spy, right?
He hasn't
Because
been.
you can't do that the other way around now anymore. You want to study what in the U.S.? You can't. We won't even give you a visa.
Yes.
Don't even talk to us again. But in China, it is possible,
Yes,
and that's
yes.
what's.
We open doors to everyone.
And obviously as well, I have to promote the Engine Academy of Peking University here as well. My master's program here is such an amazing opportunity for international students wanting to come to China and to study China in such an international environment as well. And other programs like Schwarzman program as well.
Have you heard of anybody in the U.S., Harvard, setting up an institute where they're inviting Chinese students over? No. And this is a real missed opportunity. You have a rising culture, economic base, and people are just saying, no, we don't want you. If you're studying anything that's STEM related, we don't want you. Whereas China's opening the door. But I think that pays dividends down the road. People want to go places where it's open. That used to be the US, for instance. Oh, you can do whatever you want, come here. Right. Now, a lot of those people are coming back to China because they're being discriminated. Well, it's more than that. They're being discriminated against. There's so many cases where they've prosecuted people because they're Asian, and they've been dismissed.
Yeah, I think we are running out of time. I'd like to ask each of you to share with us one single piece of advice for incoming freshmen starting their college journey. What would you like to start?
But I said find what you love, and finding what you love is very, very difficult. Because you have to try a lot of things. So don't be afraid to try things, and don't be afraid to change. Right. You're going to change. Doesn't matter whether you do it in college or. And then the other thing is find things that you're good at, and that also takes time. So many young people, they find things easy, and they just don't think about it. They don't realize that that's their talent. So you have to recognize your talents, figure out what your things, and then how to put them together. And it's a skill set that you're trying to acquire, learning how to learn, how to get along with people, human development issues. Those are the most important things to me. Not being afraid of change, embracing it, because the rest of your life is going to be a series of changes, whether it's getting married or a new job, a different career, children, taking care of your elderly parents. These are all going to be changes. So you have to, as they say, be a willow, not an oak. You have to bend with the wind to survive.
Okay, so for me, one advice is don't limit yourself. Just kind of similar to you, because I think especially for the Chinese students, we're gonna listen to all of the people's advice from the parents, from the peers. We're gonna peer pressure, and we're gonna listen the advice from the supervisor. But please just listen to yourself. So when you like a freshman in a university, just try just to make friends and fall in love with someone, and just make mistakes, as many as you can.
And survive.
And survive, yes, for sure, and survive. So I think that's it. So when you're gonna come back home, and when you're gonna finish your journey in the university, you're gonna have the confidence. You're gonna believe yourself that I can survive, and I can just handle any difficulties and challenges in the future. And I know that I deserve success. So that's it.
Matthew, what would you say to incoming international students to China?
I suppose my piece of advice is always keep an open mind, which is perhaps easier said than done to try and say, open your own mind and coming to China. Perhaps coming to China should be my piece of advice to just be come to China. Is also what I was thinking, But certainly, to have an open mind. And I think in university, certainly as well, perhaps, you're younger, you're learning all these maths equations and everything, and, it's right or wrong. But then you kind of grow up, you come to university, you realize the world is certainly not black and white. There's a very nuanced world that we live in. And, it's learning, I suppose, to have an open mind, to be aware of your own unconscious bias, I suppose, be aware of your own approach to the world, your own background, and how you understand the world is all about. And secondly, to just say yes to everything. Just say yes. I mean, come to China? Yes. Why not?
Can you lend me $30?
Yes.
Okay. I like this guy.
Sorry, cashless society. But
can you wei shin me?
I can reach at you, perhaps. Yeah, but I think just say yes to so many opportunities, because you never know where the next door will lead or where the next door will open. And don't really limit yourself. Yeah, in terms of don't be like, oh, I didn't get that job, I didn't get this opportunity, like I'm a failure. But you have to always, I suppose, keep faith in yourself and have an open mind, and really, just to always take opportunities, and you never know when the next opportunity will come and where it will take you.
Okay, so my advice would be, trust me, dead end street doesn't exist. It's true that you may encounter some frustrations or confusion on this journey, but for every problem that pops up in front of you, there's always at least one solution for that. So never let adversity beat you down. Don't be ashamed to reach out for help. Trust yourself and find your own pace. You definitely will defeat any difficulty.
I would make one recommendation for somebody coming from outside China: do a homestay.
Oh, whoa.
Because if you do a homestay, it goes beyond. You can still go out with your friends and do everything, but you will experience life in China. And you will build friendships that you would never have, and you will actually experience the pace of life in a way that you could never have done any other way.
Okay, that brings us to the end of today's roundtable. We hope this discussion can give you a glimpse of the exciting possibilities of what college education in China can offer, and also inspire you to consider China as a destination for your higher education journey. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of China XYZ, and we hope to see you again.